This is WXCX TV8, Petersburg, Richmond. It's time now for an hour with this news mid-morning report. Tuesday, July 11th, 1972. Good morning, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins, and here's what's happening here. In Miami Beach, Virginia delegates voted 13.5 for any 14.5 against the pro-McGovern minority reported in Calvary credentials battle of the floor of the Democratic National Convention early Tuesday. The Virginian vote announced at 1:10 a.m. came shortly before New York swung 2 6/7 votes beyond the McGovern delegation and apparently assured it a winning margin. Earlier, Virginia cast a majority of its 53 votes for the loser side of its first credentials contest settled on the floor. The Virginians shown about 34.5 and 18.5 against the increase in the number of the women in the South Carolina delegation as recommended by Minority Report of the Credentials Committee. The South Carolina report failed by a vote of 1,429.25 to 1,555.75, but Virginia leaders saw no openings in the contest. They had to hurry back to the floor to participate in the South Carolina voting after they cut short an 11 p.m. caucus called by Chairman Joseph T. Fitzpatrick to discuss several credentials causes ahead of the crucial California showdown of the convention agenda. Fitzpatrick, meanwhile, also assured the floor leadership world a new move of under 2 minutes to push Sheldon Carter III of Mississippi, editor and publisher for Vice presidential nomination. Earlier Monday, the Virginians had traded verbal punches at their first caucus over whether the California credentials battle involved in selective parity or political politics out of power, but reached no conclusion. It appeared that at least 35 of 53 Virginia votes were lined up on the McGovern side of the struggle for the 151 California votes might hold the first balance of the nominating power. Virginia leaders said that the presidential driver, Senator George McGovern, thought that they might have 40 or more Virginia votes in the credentials test. Now McGovern forces said that they would have 15 or 17 of the Virginia votes when the showdown finally comes. When and how the showdown might evolve was uncertain as the 93 Virginia delegates and alternatives boarded their buses late Monday afternoon for the first long journey down the beach from the Castaways Motel to the convention hall. At the time, the humid atmosphere was thick with unconfirmed rumors about how the credentials warfare might be compromised or how it might be made even more complicated by surprise parliamentary maneuvers. That could be an appeal from a chairman's ruling or some other variations of the basic issues. Should the 151 disputed California delegates be awarded to McGovern, who won the California winner-take-all primary, or should they be distributed proportionally to the other presidential candidates as recommended as the majority of the Credentials Committee? Miami Beach, Florida. Senator George McGovern recapped his suite of California's 271 delegates at a feuding Democratic National Convention early Tuesday, but the vote was challenged by his opponents. That forced a second roll call vote on the California case, but McGovern's show of straight minute first voting demonstrated what the power was. The initial vote on the crucial challenge was a 1,616.28 to seat assault McGovern delegation from California, which was 1,238.22 against. The Associated Press count of delegate strength showed that was with his California sweepers toward McGovern stood within 24 hours. So 24 votes and the majority needed to capture the White House nomination. Here, Norman B. the Jr., a Florida delegate, made the parliamentary appeal that forced a second roll call. He challenged the ruling of Chairman Lawrence F. O'Brien that 120 uncontested McGovern delegates from California could vote on the credentials case while the 151 disputed delegates could not. In an additional seating consideration, the convention took up the challenge of South Carolina women seeking 7 to 9 more seats on a 32-vote delegation. Supporters of the challenge forced a roll call vote in the issue. The South Carolina challenge was rejected 1,555.5 to 1,429.5. That issue did not involve candidate preferences, but some of the delegation divided along candidate lines. In those cases, Packers and McGovern were voted in vain for the challengers. Here, in his opening address, Chairman Lawrence O'Brien said that the first challenge was faced to decide whether the party reform will be effective to make the Democratic Party better able to deal with our real problems, or whether party reform turns out to be an exercise in self-destruction. Here, but for all the reform, all the new faces, it was conventional business as usual, milling and all bought on the floor more than an hour beyond the schedule. It looks like the stock market down there. Miami Beach Mayor Chuck Hall told the delegation. Party Treasurer Robert Strauss reported that the Democratic Telefund had raised more than $5 million to pay off party debts. The delegates didn't even pay much attention to that. Earlier Monday, rebels had sought to erect a series of parliamentary hurdles to deny him some of the critical votes, principally in the vote in the California delegate dispute. McGovern rebels had erected a series of parliamentary hurdles to deny him some critical votes, most of them in the disputed California delegation. But the South Dakota whom says party leaders have taken seriously 3 months ago appeared to have mustered for the strength to kill the hurdles. His 3-year drive to gather delegate support was still making progress when he opened and gavel fell about 8 to 1 p.m. McGovern had won California's winner-take-all primary going 271 delegates. Miami Beach. Senator Hubert H. Humphrey released all his black delegates Monday to allow them to cast symbolic first ballot votes for the Representative Shirley Chisholm. Black supporters that Senator McGovern, frontrunner for the Democratic nomination, and immediately charged that the effort was latest stopping McGovern maneuver and branded as conspiracy racism. The move to release committed black delegates was led by Charles Evers, a mayor of Fayette, Mississippi, a former supporter of Mayor John V. Lindsay of New York. Evers said that the blacks had asked the candidates to release the black delegates in a symbolic gesture. If Ms. Chisholm's name is placed before the convention, the nomination will be the first time that a woman in a major party. McGovern supporters said the idea of the plan was to dispose the senator of some badly needed votes of making it a racial issue to vote if Mrs. Chisholm and McGovern refused to release his black delegates, he would be accused of insulting blacks. They said the move by Humphrey released 93 delegates and 97 alternatives to the Brooklyn representative. Some black leaders denounced the action in bitter tones. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, aide to the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., accused Humphrey of engaging in slick racism. Addressed in the morning session in the caucus, Manu Baraka, the writer and black leader of Newark West, said that the move to Miss Chisholm was led by blacks who had refused to support her in the past. There's a lot of jiving with all being taken off, he said. If Humphrey's going to give up his black delegates, tell that cracker to give up all his delegates and go home, and let's make this presidential nominee, the writer said. Miami Beach, convention at 5 p.m. Monday. This place will not be again quiet. In Belfast, British Marine and Army reinforcements were ordered into the Northern Ireland Monday as explosions, gun battles, and sniper attacks struck the 10th province. They arrival late Monday, 600 Marines and the Army decision to send 1,200 additional soldiers here today, bringing the number of troops to Navy drama called NC 17,000 in the highest in 3 years. Followed Sunday night's abrupt decision by the Irish Republican Army Provincial Wing to end its ceasefire and resume its campaign on terrorism. British headquarters reported 109 shot at incidents by midnight Monday, along with some shooting incidents, and said that the troops wounded 13 gunmen, and some of the shootouts were between the Roman Catholic and Protestant guerrillas. Two powerful bombs wrecked shops and damaged homes near the center of the capital. An incendiary device razed a house in Belfast. Eastside sending 5 persons to the hospital, including a 4-year-old child, after bombs exploded in the London area. Armageddon storming in Belfast Catholic Ballymurphy Zone. An IRA gunman shouted out with British troops in a fight that has raged practically without the fight since. Also, 30-day ceasefire crippled Sunday night. Also, in the evening rioting and news in Belfast. London has a state attacked army. Upper Marlboro, Maryland, the state trial of Arthur H. Bremer in charge of Simmons from the attempted assassination of Alabama Governor George C. Wallace, originally set to begin Wednesday, has been postponed until July 1st. Wallace was shot May 15th at the Lower Maryland Shopping Center. A federal trial was postponed recently. Prince George's County Circuit Court Judge Ralph Powers granted a defense motion for continuance on Monday. Defense attorney Benjamin Libet, who has been granted a similar postponement in federal court Monday and Friday, argued that he needed more time to prepare his case, especially if Sacker's evidence to support Bremer's person insanity. Falmouth, England. The lone sailor who crossed the oceans in search of love was lonely still Monday. The young Type-C sailed 9,000 miles to Mary. Told him his long voyage has been in vain. 3 months after they met in a dance in Mary, born Australia, Graham Tate 36 covered the question, but 25-year-old Barbara Hill wasn't so sure. When she had flying home in England in the spring of 1970, she had still not given him her answer, so Taft decided to follow her halfway across the world in 34. Put the homemade catch Moala. The moon passed between the sun and the earth to produce a partial eclipse of the sun over March today. United States yesterday afternoon. These pictures say that 50-minute intervals show progress that the moon's bite to the sun's dusk seen from downtown Richmond and maximum. The moon blocked about 7% of the sun's face Earth. A path of total cut across the northern Alaska and Canada across the maritime province. Locally, the maximum stage of partial eclipse occurred about 4:43 p.m. Trial of Jeopardy is accused of Lowell. The airport massacre began with a defense attorney's charge that a confession was obtained by the trick. Hang-on Papers trial opens with Judge reserving himself the right to question prospective jurors. I paid to a man once beat American chess master Bobby Fischer. He talks about Fischer's match with Boris Spassky. And attacking the censorship code and state penal system starts in U.S. District Court today. On to the weather. Partly warm and humid, chest rain, highs in the upper 80s, and tomorrow more of the same. Partly warm and humid, chest rain, highs in the upper 80s. Richmond temperature at 11 o'clock, 80 degrees with overcast skies. That's committed WXTX TV 8 Eyewitness News mid-morning before this. Tuesday, July 11th, 1932 P. was a good day. We'll see you. Bye, buddy.